If you're a dad like me and have kids that just won't stop growing, you know how hard it is to keep them in pants and shoes and dirt bikes that fit them. Now, I can't tell you the first thing about buying shoes or pants, but I do know a little bit about dirt bikes, especially if they're not running. Buying a motorcycle that's not running can be a great way to save some money. It can also be a great way to lose a bunch of money and get frustrated. Today, I set up a little scenario that's gonna help you be a motorcycle that's gonna help you be a non-running, that's gonna help you be a non-running motorcycle buying hero and not a zero. Say that 3 times fast. Step 1 is we're gonna hit the local marketplace and see what kind of stuff we have available for sale. Okay, that one looks really promising. I'm gonna grab my sweatshirt, hop in the truck, and go check this thing out. All right, we're here. Let's see what we got. Guessing it's behind this fence. Hello?
Hey!
Where are you at?
I'm back here. Is this Craig?
Stan?
Yeah, this is Stan.
I think what happened is Stan was probably back here and the gate shut and he got locked in. That's my guess. Hey.
Yeah, you guessed that correctly.
How you doing? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right, so let's take a look at this bike.
Yep, back here.
You like golf carts?
Oh yeah, I used to collect them. There she is. Yep, a lot of memories with that thing as a lad. Really hate to get rid of it, but I'd love to cash more.
Get some more Twisted Tees here, I see. And you said this was running?
Yeah, it ran. It ran when I ran it last.
Okay, well, the engine's free. I have a serial number on there. Okay, there's the VIN. That way I know Stan didn't steal this thing. VIN's still on there. That's a good sign. Oh, we're missing some parts here. Zip ties are holding on the rear wheel bud.
Oh yeah, that fell off.
That fell off.
Yeah, well that thing. Zip ties work just as well.
I brought a spark plug here with me quick. If you don't mind, I'm gonna just hook up a spark plug and see if maybe it has some spark.
Oh, sure, do your thing. That's probably all it needs is a new spark plug.
So, if you're going to look at a bike like this, one of the things I'll do is throw a spark plug in my pocket, and it'll be one with the removable tip. That way, no matter what spark plug I meet, we can just sneak it in there. Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah, so we don't have spark, Stan.
Huh.
What happened here? Did you do a wheelie and the thing fell off?
Oh, you know, I told Jeb to hold my tee while I did a wheel he.
Nice. Okay, so one of the things I'll do. Now, all right, guys, when you show up to look at a bike, this is where you got to put your big boy pants on. If it's a bike that's been sitting in someone's barn or shed for the last 10, 15, 20 years, you know what you're getting and you just got to take what you're getting. Now, if it's a bike like this that looks like it's going to have some potential and it's an easy runner, you kind of want to look at it a little closer and do a few things. Now, I just checked to see if the engine was free, and it is. That's good. And I brought a spark plug with me, so I popped that on, gave it a couple kicks, and I realized we don't have spark. Now I'm going to try to use that to negotiate with this Stan character while I check out some other things. The next couple things I'm going to do is I'm going to see if the bike will go through all of its gears, and I'm going to see if the clutch works. Let's see how this plays out. Stan, I'm going to throw this over here so it doesn't get broken. Yeah, let's see if we got gears. So it seems like we got gears.
Yeah, I'd expect it to.
You didn't take the gears out of it?
It's a Honda, so it's got good bones.
So now I got it in first, and the wheel is not spinning. I'm gonna pull in the clutch, and now the wheel spins. So that tells me my clutch isn't locked up. That's a good sign. I went through all the gears. They seem to be working. That's a good sign. And it actually felt pretty smooth. Okay, so there's neutral. The brake doesn't work. That's a pretty key component. I'm not sure what he was doing there. Probably just took that front brake off because all it does is slow him down. Okay, so I just went through the transmission. The gears work. The clutch seems to be working. The engine's free, but we don't have spark. Now, there's a couple key components we need to make a motorcycle run. We need fuel, we need spark, we need air, and we need compression. Now, if you guys want to save some money buying a non-running motorcycle, let's try to get as many of those 4 things as we can to eliminate as many of those issues before purchasing the bike. So, Stan, the bike doesn't have spark. Would you mind if I throw a compression tester on this thing really quick? See if there's compression?
Well, go right ahead.
It won't take me long, it'll just take me a minute.
Oh, sure, I ain't doing much.
All right, let me grab my socket. Now, here's a really good pro tip for you guys. If you're going to buy a motorcycle or a little dirt bike for your kids, do not take them with you when you go to buy it, because you're gonna start looking at it emotionally and not logically. Trust me, I've learned that lesson. Grab my compression tester. We're gonna throw this on the bike really quick and see what kind of compression we have. So we're gonna get as much air into this thing as we can. I got no compression.
There's no compression.
Stan, we got a problem. We don't have spark and we don't have compression. Now, there's an easy thing. It could have a stuck valve or it needs a valve adjustment. If it takes more work than that in the valve train, that's several $100s. The piston's gonna cost me probably $100, and then gasket kit and everything, I'm gonna be into that for about $150. And I don't know why we don't have spark. Do we have a bad coil? Do we have an electrical issue? I don't know. You're asking $400 for this bike. I'd feel comfortable at $200.
200. Nah. I need $400 for stuff. I think it's worth it. You know, I mean, I see what you're saying, but I really think if you just, throw in new spark plugs, clean the carb, it'll fire right up.
Well, I thought that too, but we don't have two of the main things we need to make this thing run. But hey, if you need the $400, I'm gonna put your spark plug back in here, and we'll see what the next guy says. Hopefully you can get your $400, but you're not gonna get it from me. See you, bub.
All right, you got $200 cash right now?
I'll give you $200 right now.
All right.
All right, let's load it up. Okay, it's gonna go to a good home, Stan.
I'm gonna miss that old girl. All right, Craig.
We hope you get this in the truck.
Craig, what are you doing?
I'm just gonna load it up.
Dude, this gets over. Let's push it to the shop.
Right,
come on,
fine.
come on.
Good point. Well, would you looky there. Okay, that was a bit of a dramatization. If you guys couldn't tell, Stan was actually Dan. He was just wearing a baseball hat and a sweatshirt. But all joking aside, I would like to say thank you to Dave at Bullpen Cycles. He actually donated this bike to the channel. He brought it up when he was up for the auction last week, and that was really awesome. Thank you, Dave. Really appreciate it. Now we have the bike inside and on the table. Let's take a look and see exactly what we have. Kind of go over it a bit. I will be honest, I didn't see the no compression thing coming.
That sounds really bad.
Yeah. So you got the bike bought and you get it home. Now, what are your next steps? Let's take a look at this thing, see exactly what we have. We're gonna take a little inventory, and then we're gonna work through the process and hopefully give you guys some tips and tricks on what to do when you bring home a motorcycle that's not running and you have to justify it to your wife or kids or girlfriend, mom, dad, anybody.
Landlord.
Landlord. So what do we have here? We're gonna figure out a year. We have are you serious? Well, would you look at that, Dan? Come here, look at this. Guess what's right where the cables were rubbing? The year. Okay, that's all right. There's another way to do this. Over here's a VIN number. Now, this is gonna work for everybody that's in the States of America, IA. We're gonna count to the 10th digit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is an X. 10 is an X. This is a 99. Okay, so this is a 1990.
Wait, so it's Roman numeral?
No.
Oh.
So we have a 1999 Honda XR80. And if you're curious, the frame color code is NH138 if you ever wanna match paint or powder coat. Now, I do recommend if you're buying a bike like this, you try to get as much information up front before you actually make the purchase. So now, we were fooling around a little bit, but I would, if you are buying a bike that's not running, I would recommend you try to test the spark and see if there's spark, because if there's not, that's something you're gonna have to figure out. Two, if they'll let you, put a compression tester to it and see what kind of compression you have. That's gonna tell you a lot about the inside of the motor.
And if it doesn't have that, don't buy the bike like Craig did.
And if it doesn't have compression, you're gonna have to start thinking if you really want this motorcycle or not, right? That leads me back to the pro tip I gave you guys earlier, where you don't take the kids with when you're shopping for a mini bike for them. Because I can guarantee if my little guy was standing there staring at me, I was gonna start buying with emotion, not with logic. However, we're gonna act like none of that out there happened, and you did decide to buy this bike, and you got it home. Now we know what we have. The next step is to figure out what kind of shape it's in. So I'm gonna look at a few things. You know, I could already tell it's gonna take tires, and while we're doing tires, we're gonna do tubes, but I am curious because I'm curious. So I'm gonna put some air in the front and the rear tire.
That's why they call you Curious Craig.
I'm curious. Tell you what, man, these little Fanuc compressors are handy as all get out, if I'm being honest. Maybe we'll even put the information and link down in the description. Okay, let's see here. Set it to there. Motorcycle. I want motorcycle. What's the lowest I can go on bicycle? Nope. How about beach ball? I only want 12 pounds. Okay, here we go. There it is. Now we'll see if those will hold air. Let's do this one. Wow, that one's got 3 pounds. Okay, those are holding air. So let's go over the checks we did outside and make sure we don't have spark, double check the compression, and we're gonna hit this thing step by step to see if we can get it figured out. So let's confirm that we do not have spark on this bike. Okay, well that spark plug is not gonna spark. That is fouled as fouled can be.
Maybe it just wasn't sparking because it was really wet outside.
Hold on, look at that plug.
It was raining.
See all that carbon?
Oh, yeah.
There's that much on the plug. I wonder what the valves look like. All right, looks like the closest I'm gonna have is a CR6. That's all right, it's just one heat range away. It'll be fine. Pretty brittle. Actually, you know what?
What?
We might have spark.
Really?
We might.
Yeah, turn the lights off. Am I holding it in the right spot? Oh, I see it. Dude, I saw spark.
I was hoping it would shock you. Darn it. All right, I got it. Oh, we actually got, all right, we got spark. That's a good thing. Woohoo, doggies. Okay, so we do have spark. That's fantastic if I'm not lying. If we didn't have spark, the first thing I would have done is come to this side of the bike. Now the way this kill switch works, it's a 2-wire switch. We have a wire coming in and it goes up into the switch. Another wire comes out of the switch and is coming here to ground. So what's happening is when you push your kill switch, we're shorting to ground. So what I would do is I'd come over here and I'd unplug my kill switch. Now that isolates this switch, takes it out of the system, and I'd go back over and I'd see if I have spark. Always try to start with the easiest things first, right? Okay, so I'd look, and if I got spark, I know I have a bad switch. So now I start investigating the switch. If I didn't have spark, the next thing I would do is start going through and checking all of my connections. Make sure all my connections were clean and tight. A lot of times, that is gonna give you the spark that you need. There's a couple simple tools you guys have to get if you wanna start working on some bikes like this. The first one is a service manual, not the owner's manual, the service manual. Another thing you're gonna really want is a compression tester. These things are invaluable, and if you're starting to monkey with this stuff, you gotta have a compression tester. Because if you send me an email and say, I got this problem and I did this, this, and this, and my bike doesn't run, depending on the bike, first thing I'm gonna ask you is, what's the compression? So if you didn't have compression, the next thing is gonna be to do a leak down test. So this here will go in your spark plug hole. You're gonna add air from your air compressor into here and set your pressure. You wanna have the engine at top dead center so your valves are closed and your piston's all the way up. What that's gonna do is pressurize the combustion chamber. And if there's a leak that's causing the non-compression, you can start figuring out where it's coming from. Maybe there's a sticky intake valve and it's hanging up a little bit. You're gonna start hearing that air escaping through your intake tract. Same if there's an exhaust valve problem, you'll start hearing air coming out of your exhaust. If it's blowing past your rings and your piston, you gotta pull some, like your dipstick, and you should be able to hear it leaking out through the bottom of your crankcase or through your crankcase vent. So that would be the next step if you didn't have compression. Now for us, what we're gonna do is we're gonna finish our compression test. When you're doing compression tests, you wanna hold the throttle all the way open. Feels like that throttle's not doing anything. Okay, but you wanna hold the throttle all the way open, and you're gonna kick or crank until your needle stops. Shoot, I was hoping I'd get over 100. And I'm not, just under 100, and I'm about 95. It's not great. It's not great, but I think it'll run.
How did you go from no spark, no compression to both by moving it inside?
That's a very valid question. Okay, so the way that happened, or the way that worked is, we just outside the spark, we just didn't look close enough, I guess. And with it being light out, I missed it.
It was very faint.
Yeah, it was faint enough that I missed it. The compression test, I guess I just didn't have the O-ring seated tight enough. But hey, sometimes I'd rather be lucky than good.
So you're telling me that you ripped Stan off?
You're just mad because you were Stan. So now that we know we have a fairly complete bike here, we know what year it is. We have compression. No, it's not great compression, but we have enough that it should run. And we have spark. The next thing we're gonna need to do is check out our fuel system and our air system. The air box is right here, so how about we do that next? Oh, well, would you looky there, Dan?
What was it?
Ooh, look, this here's starting to peel apart. That's not what we want. So right now it'll be okay. Okay, so we have air. Here's one thing on the intake side that I am noticing. This is not genuine on this bike. This cork gasket should not be sticking out of here. See this? That should not be there. Okay, so now we got most of the major things addressed. The next thing we need to do is, that's right, Dan.
Clean the carb, fire right up.
Clean the carburetor. A couple things here we're gonna have to do. One is, let's pop this slide out of the carburetor. That's an issue. So remember when I said it felt like the throttle wasn't doing anything?
It's because the throttle isn't doing anything.
That's because the throttle wasn't doing anything. We got a stuck slide. Okay. Couple other things you can notice here. This clamp is on backwards. This here, that's a hardware store bolt. You can always tell. This bolt down here was just too long, so they put these things in there to shim it out, I guess. Nailed it. All right, let's pop this off. All righty. There we got a vent line. There we got some rotted off fuel line. Now we can pop off our intake. Okay.
What happened? What did we see?
See carburetor.
How bad is it?
It's still stuck. I'm gonna let this slides here soak for a bit, and hopefully we can work our way free with that. In the meantime, while that is soaking, there's a couple things I need to look up. One is, I noticed we were missing the exhaust shield. Not only is that ugly, that's a little dangerous. Your little guy or gal falls over, gets their leg pinned underneath this side of the bike, or just while riding, gets close to it. It's gonna melt the pants, it's gonna burn the legs, that sort of thing. I wanna see if I can address that. The other thing is, something is not right here, and I'm not sure what it is, but there's definitely something wrong here. So I need to look at that. Gonna check out an oil filter, see what carb parts we need. That's easy enough to do. Ours has a hole, and then they just had it zip tied. That's not right. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, once we get the correct brake stay and put that on here, that slides on here, that keeps it from moving. But this brake rod should actually be up top. It shouldn't be on the bottom side. It should be on the top side. Hopefully we don't break this carburetor, Dan. That would, you know what? That would stink. There we go. Fantastic. Choke. Boom, boom, boom. And this one here is actually a choke. And the reason I say that is watch. See? Watch down in the Venturi. Choke on. Choke off. So what it does is it moves this piece down, and then there's actually a little flapper in there. It just allows that much air in. So you are actually choking off the air intake. So this isn't an enrichener, it is a choke. It's not awful.
So it looks pretty good.
Not too shabby.
Put her back together, let's fire her up.
Let's fire it up. All right, what do we got? Let's start with our floats. Main jet. Yep, that's clogged. Okay, we're gonna count turns in on our mixture screw, and this is an air screw. General rule of thumb is if your mixture screw is on your air side, it's an air screw. If your mixture screw's on the fuel side, it's a fuel screw. Either way, you take them out the same. You count your turns in to lightly seated and then back them out all the way to clean it. That's all the way in. Okay, well, fantastic.
Is that bad?
Well, it's bad if somebody screwed it in too far, too hard, and distorted the tip of this needle, or the tip of this screw, because this here's actually what does the metering. This one looks okay. It's like no harm, no foul. Next thing we need to do with these is get these into some water and make sure that they float. Think. One of those gaskets to our shopping cart. We have the carburetor soaking in the ultrasonic cleaner. Next step is, let's see what we got for engine oil, since that is kind of like the lifeblood of this motorcycle. So we're gonna drop that, see what that looks like. That's gonna give us an indication of what we're working with. There's the drain plug. That's gonna take a 17, sure looks like, and a ratchet, and a drain pan. Now, for something like this, I am using a clean drain pan. That way I can see what's coming out, and if there's any flakes or dirt, debris, that sort of stuff. I kind of have an idea what's going on the inside of the engine. Going down. Actually, not horrible. Okay, so oil is draining. That's gonna be finished up here in a second. Oh, here's something we can do. So we were a little light on the compression, if you remember. Here's something we can do kind of quick as a test to see if, I think it's in the rings and cylinder, piston, or if maybe it's in the valves. Let's try this. I'm gonna take a little oil. I'm gonna put it down in the spark plug hole. Whoop, just like that. Maybe that was a little much. Gonna screw our spark plug, our compression tester back in. Now the idea is having that oil in there is gonna seal up any gaps temporarily. It's gonna seal up ring gaps, that sort of thing. Let's see if we get any better compression. So we went from 95 pounds up to 110, 120, 125-ish. So maybe the rings are just a little tired, but that's a quick way to kind of see what's going on there in the insides. All right, flashlight. I'm gonna look into that piston, see what I see. It doesn't look bad in there. Does not look bad. I think we're just gonna run that until the other one comes. This was spray painted. I wonder what it looked like underneath. Why they probably faded. There it goes, okay. Make sure all those passages are clean.
Those passages are allowing passage.
Yes, the passages must allow passage. If no passage is allowed, then what was once a passage is no longer a passage. Sound like somebody we once knew. It's amazing what these carburetors can grow. I tell you what. Hey, get back in there, gasket. All right, there's our jets. Let me grab my jet cleaner. Tiny little pilot jet. Floats are still floating, check. Okay, so we're gonna put that back on. Let's put a carburetor together. You need to make sure that inside, where that slide goes, is nice and smooth and clean so the slide's not hanging out. Okay, now we need our wrench. Just nice and snug. And we're gonna put our pilot jet in. Don't need to go He-Man on these things. Just nice and snug. Put the main jet in. That goes in that main jet thing, like that. Okay, main jet. And now we'll put our float back in. Float needle, float pin. These are about the simplest carburetors known to carburation. All the way in. Now this one was set all the way in. I don't believe that's the truth. So I'm gonna set it all the way in, just snug. And I'm gonna back it off half, 1.5 to start. And then I'm gonna take the float bowl. Boom, boom. That lined up. Get our screws back in. Okay, all looking good. Now on the bike side, we wanna make sure our needle's clean. It doesn't have any old fuel scum on it. Make sure our slide is clean. And line up our slot and our pin. You drop that down in and make sure you don't jam that needle where it shouldn't go. Get that needle in the center.
How are we looking?
We're looking good. It's working good. Now, we're putting a kit on this bike, so I want the throttle to snap back. That means this cable needs to be lubricated and probably this throttle housing needs to be lubricated. But our slide is working good. So here's where we're at in the process. If you guys get this far and you have spark, you have compression, we have air, and now hopefully we're gonna have fuel. Might as well fire this bike up. You don't need to wait for this gasket to come. This gasket's gonna work just fine the way it is for now to start the bike. So what we're gonna do is get the bike running and then, wait, what am I doing? Hold on, where did I put the carburetor? I lost it.
The carburetor?
Yeah, I lost the whole carburetor.
What are we talking about?
Oh, it's right there. Okay. Boy, that's a hard air boot. What if I should use a heat gun? Get some heat in, that puts some flexibility back into the rubber. Just like that. Bam, nailed it. Somebody went a little too Hulk Hogan on this one at some point and stripped out the hole in the cylinder. So I'm gonna try a little bit longer of a bolt, see if we can catch some thread.
Maybe we wouldn't see more bikes like this if more people would just tune into the Bearded Mechanic every Saturday morning.
At 9?
At 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Learn how to wrench on bikes with Craig.
Okay.
Is it taken?
Yep, that's snugged up. So
all right.
click. We're gonna put oil in. Let's do that. Whenever you pull drain plugs, you wanna pop off these old crush washers, put a new crush washer on. I just don't happen to have mine here right now. But I will make sure I do that. And its next oil change, which will probably be pretty soon. So a lot of times they'll have on here how much oil to put in. This one here doesn't, so.
Today's one of those lucky days when it doesn't.
Yeah. It looks like it's about 2 quarts is my guess. Oh, it doesn't give me oil quantity. Hold on a second, a 46 tooth rear pulley. That's not a 46. Huh, that's a 36. This is a Honda, they're sprockets. Anyway, that's a 36. Okay, I'm not gonna worry about that for right now.
Craig, I feel like the next thing you're gonna have to do is buy the parts that are supposed to be on the bike. What?
No, we're not.
We're not? What do you mean? What's so funny?
Honestly, forgot all about this.
Going back into the dungeon. Oh, that's
It's gonna be the same dumb thing.
that's the same bike.
Remember, that's the one we got at the auction with the parts bikes, with this bike and the, what was it, TM70, TM75 Suzuki? Remember that one we did the burnout and riding it?
Yeah, I know.
So I put new tires, tubes, got new tires and tubes for on there, carb clean, fresh gas, all that stuff. My son Owen rides it right now, loves it. He's like, Dad, I really like 2-strokes.
Oh, I bet that makes you just delighted. Really love to. Your son loves the ring dings.
It is, it is. I got the warm fuzzies on the inside, if I'm not lying. This is gonna work out perfect, Dan. I'll be dipped. This is a 1991, but these dumb things were the same from the beginning. They started to they just changed seat covers, maybe graphics. Look at that. Well, it has the chain guard we need. It has the chain guide we need. It has the rear wheel we need. It has the hand guards we don't need, but you really do want them because look how awesome they are. The tank, actually, believe it or not, is, I think, nicer than that one since that one's painted. I like that seat better. Oh, we got the exhaust pipe shield.
Wow.
Yeah, see, remember I said the brake rod was gonna be on the top side? I was right. Okay. Well, anyway, back to what we was doing. Oil capacity. 3/4 of a quart. I need 710 cc's of dinosaur juice. Now our drain plug is back in. Our funnel is in. Now, you might be asking yourself why I didn't change the oil filter. Were you asking yourself that, Dan?
Yeah.
These don't actually have oil filters. They run a centrifugal oil filter. So you got to take a bunch of stuff apart. This bike turns into a good running bike. That is going to be like phase 2. You do want to make sure that those are clean. I'm not going to worry about that right now for phase 1. You know what time it is, Dan?
Time for you to clean it up.
Time for us to clean off this workbench. How does this oil look? This oil doesn't look bad. There's a little, so you see that shimmer and shine, the gold. I'm hoping that's not bottom end bearing. I don't see any big chunks, any big pieces. See that in here? See it?
I see a lot of shiny.
Yeah.
Shiny's typically bad.
So yeah, that could be bottom end bearing. Fingers crossed. It is a Honda. I don't even know if they need bottom end bearings to run, if I'm being honest. Okay, so we are at the stage of this where we checked the bike out and bought the bike. We got the bike home, got it disassembled, realized we have spark and we do have some compression, hopefully enough to make it run. Our air filter is falling apart, but it's good enough to see if it runs. We have a replacement on our shopping list. We went through the carburetor, do have some carburetor parts that we want to replace on the shopping list as well, but we got it clean and good enough to see if this bike starts. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because before we go ahead and spend any more money, we want to make sure that this motorcycle will start. When we looked at it, I went through the gears, that all seems fine, and the clutch is free, but we want to make sure it starts and runs semi-good before we go buying any parts. We are all but there. I need to put the spark plug in. Right now, all we're really invested is an hour or two's worth of time and a spark plug. Click. Okay, spark plug's in, cap is on. Did our tires hold any air? A little. Okay, we know that's wrong. We have oil in. Now, the next step here is I'm gonna get some gas to the bike and we're gonna start kicking and see if it fires. If you have to use the fuel tank that came with the bike, go ahead and do that. I do recommend though that you use a clearer fuel filter so you can just see the gas coming through. Make sure there's not any big chunks or anything like that. If you have the resources, use an IV bottle because then you don't have to put everything together and then the tank's in your way and whatever, to at least get it to fire up and run. So that's what we're gonna do. IV bottle, fuel line, kick. Fuel line's in.
Craig, that jug says mix.
Yeah. We're out of regular, so we're just gonna run it on a bit of 2 smoke. That's all right. That'll just help lubricate the top end, lubricate that carburetor slide.
You say it's okay. I guess it's okay.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Okay, fuel's on. It's not leaking. It's a good sign. Fingers crossed, man. Choke on. That's gonna be choke off. Okay, choke on. How many kicks?
I'm gonna say you're gonna like give up after like 12, and then you're gonna come back and it's gonna start on the second kick.
Okay.
That seems about in theme with like what's been going on, where like it had no spark, and then I'm overthinking this. I'm just gonna say 14.
Okay, I'm between 8 and 9 because it's an XR80 and 8. Oh shoot, now we're leaking gas.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so that needle is not seating. Okay, back to how many kicks. We can sort that here in a second. And it's in 1999, so there's 2 9s in 1999. There's 3 9s in 1999, so I'm going 9. Oh, Stan had it listed as 1989, didn't he?
I did, yeah, he did. I mean,
what a goofball that guy was.
I mean, he just looked at, you know, how crusty it was and made an educated guess.
We got some things going on. Here we go.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
How about 2? How about 2, Dan?
Oh my gosh.
Sounds like a Honda.
That don't even sound bad.
Goes in gear. Does burnout stuff. It's a little rattly.
Craig, you're gonna smoke out the office.
It's a good start. Oh, we probably should have shut the office door.
No, it's fine.
It's what we all came here for.
This is actually like one of the better smelling startups that we've had in a while. We've
disagree.
had some pretty rank startups.
It smells like barbecue sauce.
That's what I mean. Why does it smell so good?
It must be a mixture of the exhaust, the tire, and the table paint.
Uh-oh, you're saying it smells so good because I'm huffing paint?
Well, that's part of it.
Okay.
All right, so now that we know the bike starts and runs, and it's actually running fairly decent here on the table, I think we're okay to order some parts, like the intake gasket, the float needle for the float, and some of that stuff. I think now we can justify that since the bike is running. So I'm gonna order that stuff and get it headed this way. But in the meantime, we need to go through some other little things here to make sure that it's safe for your little guy or gal. They both can ride. Oh, it's the next day. Oh! So here's what I did in betwixt time. Took the rear wheel off the parts bike and put it on this bike. So now at least that spins and stops. So, right?
Yeah, that's really good.
Stops. Okay, we got that. Front brake, we need to address. Throttle cable. I am not liking that this is sticky. So you never want to send your kids around the backyard with a sticky throttle, especially in my case right now because I got one riding with a clutch and one wants to learn to ride with a clutch. That's what this bike's going to be for. And the last thing I want is for him to panic with a stuck throttle and forget to pull the clutch. And he hits the neighbor's swing set or something. I don't know. So we're gonna pop this apart. All right, let's get a little lubricant in there. Penetrate fast acting, da 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 da. This isn't cable lube, but I don't have cable lube here yet. Gotta get some. I don't have a cable luber here yet either, so I'm sticking my straw in here, and then I cover up as much as I can with my fingers, try to get as much force down in that. Yeah, look at all that garbage. It's so quiet in here. Dan, put some music on while we do this.
Yeah, sure thing. How do you like this music, Craig?
I like it.
It's great.
Just about there, Dan, just about there.
Can't wait much longer, Craig. We gotta get this thing riding.
That was a good song, Dan. I like that one.
Oh, good.
Okay, throttle snaps back. That is a good thing. Got that, got that. We're gonna use the tank off the parts bike. Even though it's faded, I like it better than the one that was spray painted. Let's see here what we got for front brakes. Why is this cable off? There's probably a reason this cable was off. Okay, our front brake doesn't move.
Oh, so it wasn't moving, so they just took it off?
Apparently. Dan, this is escalating quickly.
What's happening now?
Well, the front wheel doesn't move.
Oh. What will we find? What is it?
Brakes.
It's brakes. Just as I suspected.
Just as I thought. Okay. Backing plates broke a little bit. Tell you what, this is kind of neat having a parts bike. You might have to steal this front tire. This is like a 300 by 16 Kenda. It's got some cool tread pattern. It's got the big kind of old school blocky tread. And it's kind of fat for the front, which is cool.
It's pretty convenient having a parts bike that you want parts off of.
Yeah, man, this is super handy. There we go. Nailed it. Okay. That's gonna go back on like that. We have our axle. Now, does the front wheel spin? All right, by golly.
Does it spin?
Yeah.
Does it break?
Yeah, I'm looking when I'm adjusting and I'm thinking about little guys and their fingers are little, especially with clutches. What happens sometimes is if the friction zone's too far out, what'll happen when your little guy's riding, he'll get to a certain point and he runs out of finger before his clutch is engaging. So they have a tendency of like letting the clutch fly, and it's not a nice smooth engagement, disengagement. The other problem with that is they can't work the clutch like they should. So when we're practicing in the backyard, I'm doing slow games with them, and they need to be able to work that clutch in the friction zone. Now, we have all of that set. Got brakes, our throttle is working and snapping back. Rear brakes, let's throw a gas tank on this thing. Got the gas tank right here, that's handy. Like that, snug, snug. And let's put some fuel in. See if that carb settled down.
We leaking again?
Everything's leaking.
Ruh-roh.
I think it's that gasket. It's an O-ring there. There's one on the list, the parts list. Cheese and Christmas cloths. Alrighty. There's more than one way to fix a leaky gas tank. Kind of reminds me of the time we put that WLDR together and the fuel tank started leaking. So what I would do if I was a normal dad is I'd get the gas out of the tank and I'd wait for that O-ring to come and then I would replace that and be set to go. But since I'm not a normal dad, let's see if we can fix this right now. Yeah, well, that's part of our problem. Look how much grossness is in there. Here's our O-ring. Let's clean this off and see what happens. Watch your face balls. All right, what do we got here? This is our filter tube. Be very careful, these are brittle. I feel like we should give that a couple minutes.
Craig, are we almost ready?
Almost ready. You're getting ready to get ready. There's probably only 4 or 5 more unforeseen issues that I unforesaw.
Craig, what do you know that you don't know yet?
That's a great question. I'm not sure what I don't know yet. Found a new O-ring that is working for right now to keep that petcock from leaking until the other one comes. What's next? I know what's next. These are what's next. Or this. Okay. So, just to recap, our front brake's working now. Rear brake's working now because we had to replace the rear wheel because that was not correct. Front brake was jacked up, that's now working. Our fuel tank is not leaking. I think we are ready to fire this bike up again, take it for a test ride. I believe it's gonna be safe enough for the kids to rip until the new parts get here, but let's go find out. All right, Dan, let's see if we can't make this thing run around the yard a bit. Let's see what we got. Rum, 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 rum. Please don't leak. Let's put choke on. Give it a kick a few. Fun kick.
There it goes. Wow.
Beat that. You want to open up a door for me, please? Oh, this is fantastic already. Hold on. Put up my safety hood. I know it's a little high. I think that float height is an issue. Let's make a lap before we leak too much gas. Front brake works, rear brake works, throttle snapping back, goes into neutral easy. Our carb just about stopped leaking gas. Idle's still a little high. I did put oil down into the cylinder, so some of that could be that yet. Not too bad. It is a little noisy. Nice. Well, there you have it, guys. Hopefully you learned a couple little things to get a bike running. Thank you to Dave at Bullpen for donating this bike to the channel. We're gonna have a lot of fun with it. Have a great weekend. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Dan, put a video here and here for the people. See you later.